BBC Hooniverse.
You're watching the TGM production.
Wow. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. We've been commissioned for a full series from TGM Productions. I didn't know it was a pilot until this morning. I found out that yesterday's Who references was a pilot for a brand new series. Well, it'd be a series would try and pitch to the BBC, but they probably wouldn't want it for the Hooniverse show. Welcome to Who References, the show where I talk about other TV shows that reference Doctor Who. I was thinking long and hard about what shall I do for a brand new show, for our first episode, proper first episode, and not the pilot. The pilot we spoke about was CBC Office, which isn't a TV show, it's the continuity between programmes. Well, this time, we're going to talk about, and I don't think I've got a prop to easily explain it, but let's just utilise your friend of mine, Jurassic! What does Jurassic want to say? Nothing! Nothing at all. Okay, Jurassic. Do you want to just stand here? Right, okay, right. So do you want to help me, do you want to, yeah, right. So we're going to announce what we're going to talk about, okay? Right. So, just before we get on to it, years ago on the internet, there was a online filmmaker person called Phil Lester. He had a mascot in his web thing. I'm going to call it a web series, but it's probably not. Which was a lion. And then I tried to develop my own character thing, but I think Jurassic wins that goal. I think Jurassic wins that. He used to do a thing where it got people to send in fan drawings, and it was him and lion. Well, this is Jurassic. Jurassic's my lion. Woo! Anyway, so, I'm just going to hold on to him. So, we're going to announce, today we're talking about, we're popping over the pond to America, to talk about The Simpsons. Now, there won't be a lot to talk about here, because The Simpsons don't really reference it as much as that one reference that Family Guy made. I've never actually seen that full episode of that reference at all, so I don't really know much about it. And I think that what do you want to say about this, Jurassic? Well, they really like making subtle references, is what we want to say. Right. Subtle references. Yeah. So we're talking about subtle references here. Why are you moving like that? Don't ask me. Ask yourself. How do I ask myself? You can't. Anyway, back to it, mate. Back to it. You know you can't do ventriloquism. I know I can't. But what I want you to do, just before we tell them about the fourth Doctor in the Simpsons universe, I just want you to say one word. Well, are you trying to say bottle of gear? No, I'm trying to say bottle of beer. Anyway, back to it, Tom. Back to it! Yes. So The Simpsons had a very interesting reference several times. The one reference I'm talking about is whenever they do a convention-based episode, or every so often the fourth Doctor doesn't know be referenced. Because I think if you ask anyone, how do you describe Doctor Who, that if, character-wise, if you weren't thinking about the TARDIS, if you were trying to describe the sort of, I can't think of the word I'm looking for right this second, but you're trying to describe what represents Doctor Who if you're not really caught up with it. So Jurassic wouldn't be it, right? Let me put Jurassic down for now. Don't put me down. No, I'm just putting you over there, Jurassic. So, I would say the Fourth Doctor, because of the long scarf, is that sort of element that everyone remembers, right? Not everyone, but people that have seen enough of the early shows. And I think Tom Baker was a popular figurehead, so I think Matt Groening and the gang will have understood that immensely. Now, what's interesting about The Simpsons is, I think he's Harry Sheeran? Harry something, who plays a few characters on The Simpsons, has somehow become very ingrained in British comedy. Why? I don't know. He appeared on Alan Davis's As Yet Untitled, an episode of Would I Lie to You, and I think he must have appeared on an 8 out of 10 Cats. So it's like, Alan Davis's As Yet Untitled is the odd one out, because it's not a popular show in America, it's not a big deal. He decided to do that on his own back, and Alan Davis is a massive Simpsons fan, and we all are, really. But I think that it represents that he's encapsulated the British humour, and he's going to appear on Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. So, I think the references in The Simpsons are quite subtle. When I Google images of Doctor Who in The Simpsons, I'll find out it's probably not as subtle as I'm thinking it is. I'm currently rewatching every episode ever of The Simpsons, as well as still doing my annual yearly rewatch of every episode ever of Doctor Who, which I'm currently on, and I'll tell you where I'm up to on that at the end of this. But I think The Simpsons references are fascinating, are fun, because they're not saying, oh look, it's Doctor Who. They're doing it very subtly and from the background. I'm on Series 3, Episode 15 of The Simpsons, and I think that the more the show went on and the more it tried to reference it, it sort of hid it in the background. So, for Doctor Who, I'm currently in the middle of watching the story The Enemy of the World. I'm on the second episode of The Enemy of the World from the 30th of December, 1967. So I personally think that The Simpsons references things excellently. I think it references things quite well. And it's not in your face. It's not like, oh look, Doctor Who. It's more like, oh look, Doctor Who. Right? So it's not really in your face, which, if you really think about it, that's the type of reference you want in the CBC Office, like I mentioned in the pilot. You can sort of see the reference, but they never mention it. In The Simpsons, the references are just dotted about. But I'll find out when I do the research for the thumbnail whether or not it's as nuanced, as in the background as I thought. It might be front and centre. I might have got it completely wrong. But from what I remember, because I'm rewatching the episodes, I'll be able to get more in detail on that. But the references I can think of were the background shots, were the wide shots, were the very few shots. And so, that is where we leave Who References today, Series 1, Episode 1. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Series 1, Episode 2, only because there was a particular reference that I don't think I've mentioned before from a British daytime soap that I wanted to talk about, and because I haven't got all the time in the world, I think it's a short, sweet thing to do, and then we'll leave Who References for a while and come back, because there'll be 6 episodes in Series 1. So, thank you for watching, thank you for being interested in Who References. Hey! We've got a series. I'll see you next time. Hopefully, I can try and pitch this to the Whoniverse show, which is the Doctor Who's revival of, or reboot of Doctor Who fan show, but just renamed it to the Whoniverse show. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Time to watch. Bye bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Tom Mason YouTube channel.